Good morning. It's Friday, so I decided we will do a quick review and scan of the market, just to kind of take a look at what's happening pre-market. I'll try to get this video out pretty quick. I'll try to also keep it pretty short, straight to the point, and we'll see what we're looking like. I did get a lot of messages, guys. I did see your communication tags, and I just want to tell you thank you. If you know me, I'm not greed hungry. Clearly, I some things happen that I just have to accept. Nevertheless, what I'm going to do is try to push out videos just so that you can get a chance to see my thoughts. We definitely did really good with the Qs yesterday. So if you caught my call outs on QQQ, every single level hit to the T. So shout out to everybody that was trading QQQ with me yesterday. So we'll keep it cool. We'll keep QQQ as our focus point. Honestly, if you just had one plan for the day, which is just to trade one stock, then that one stock for me was QQQ, and I was great. I didn't have to go looking around and have to do too much. I worked, so I just did my entry, exit, focus on my job. Simple as that. So don't be jumping around the market, right? Like try to find what works for you. Is Friday, have your plan together prior to the day starting, and then stick to your plan as best as you can. Yes, at times we do have to have a backup plan, a pivot. Maybe the stock that you're watching isn't moving. That's all good. You still just want to have your plan together. Um, so let's see. We have data coming out this morning. And we might need to look ahead because we might have some data. So yeah, so here's the data for this morning. One main thing to look at is going to be the government payrolls and the manufacturing payrolls and non-farm. All this stuff is going to be essential to the market and how they'll react. Remember, there's a lot going on with rate cuts. We have Powell speaking at 11:30. Okay. It is a Friday, guys, so it is very important to be aware of this stuff. This is all happening today. So just be mindful of the times. My time is central, so be mindful of the central time zone difference for me. So 7:30 my time may be a different time for you. Just remember, we have the Fed speaking. We have a few Feds speaking for Friday. So we will see what the market does today. It should be interesting. And then if we look at next week and look ahead, we have consumer inflation expectations. We have JOLTS job openings, JOLTS job quits. We have some crude oil data, mortgage. Okay, CPI. CPI gets people every time. Just be aware of it. It's going to happen. So it's happening on Wednesday. Mark your calendars. Keep a little note that, hey, we have CPI, we have PPI, we have jobless claims as usual on Thursdays. It's a lot going on, and every month around this time, I just find that traders get completely lost and caught off guard. So stay ahead of your economic data. Let's see. Let's also take a quick scan at what's up in the market. We're going to use our heat map. I wanted to do this live, but I just couldn't get my schedule together to actually put out a live. But I'm thinking this weekend I will post on YouTube a link to the live and we'll just have a live review. And then anyone that misses it, like I did for the study group, I'll just post it here on YouTube today, over the weekend. So we're going to go to our heat map and we're going to look at pre-market and see what's going on. Well, obviously, AVGO had a wonderful reaction to their earnings, so we'll look at what's green first. ZOM did a great pullback. Uh, if you were catching some of my ZOM call outs, and then it did a really nice recovery. So still got my eyes on ZOM to see what they're doing. 112 might still be a potential, but I have to map it out. So we have Palantir up pre-market. We have AVGO up from earnings. We have NVIDIA up from NVIDIA up, and I think maybe this is somewhat due to how much we were dropping and also just a little bit of the AVGO hype. MU is up pre-market. What is Micron doing? Let's see. We're going to back out just to see a little bit of what's happening with them. These are old, so I'm going to take that off my chart. All right, so they are in a order block right here, and their breakout point would be this candle, so over 92.64. Over 92.64, okay? So I would say watch them. I wouldn't believe the hype unless they're proving themselves because obviously we've been in the downtrend. We're off the 200, we're off the 12 EMA, and so it's still a little to be determined, but they're in an area where buyers are positioned to pick them up since February 12th. So the question is, do they have the same movements? We'll have to just wait and see. So I would just keep them on my watch because they are up a little bit pre-market. Who's your biggest mover? Obviously, it's going to be AVGO, HOLX. Don't know what that is, but you can check them out. NRG, Walgreens is also up a bit pre-market. Whoa. Let's see what Walgreens is doing just real quick. All right, Walgreens is definitely doing something. They have earnings on March 27th. So they have earnings this month, and I'm just seeing what's up with them. They are at 11. Wow. They broke 1102. Walgreens may be one to watch. And so if they're going to have any type of retracement and boom, I mean, they have a lot of space. I don't see a supply zone on the daily until we get all the way up here. Let me just get to the weekly real quick and see. It's a lot of open space. Okay, so they're going to meet some sellers here on the 4 hour at 11:24. So they're pretty close. So this would be where they get choppy, could get a reaction and a pullback. It doesn't mean that they can't clear this, guys. It just means that you got to be mindful of what's ahead. And so you can see, even if you just had your candles, right? Like even if you just had your candles, you can see that we have some selling pressure once we approach this area here on the 4 hour. And since it's the 4 hours, a larger time frame than the 5 minute or the 15 minute, it matters. It matters to know that. You can almost just draw your own supply zone here, right? And base it off of this area here. We know that once we get here, we got some selling pressure. And so you just want to be mindful of it, just so you can avoid the chop or be chasing a high that may actually need to pull back from here. So you can make your own supply zone once you start identifying what to base it off of, right? So we know that we had a significant pullback in some sellers here. So as price is going to approach here, you're going to have that same selling pressure, because it moves so what we would say aggressively here that it actually did this complete pullback all the way to 1014, and then it actually came back, and guess what? It reacted again. So now it looks like we're just getting priced back here again. So they're trying to get out of it. Keep that in mind. It actually can go back all the way to when we sold out here, and this will be the next reaction to it. We're pulling back, and now we're trying to approach again. So yeah, there's some selling pressure up here. Just keep that in mind with Walgreens. And again, they have earnings, so maybe this is the pre-run to earnings. So it's good to get ahead of earnings and catch the momentum leading up to their earnings because you never know what they'll do once their earnings post. In this last earnings, they did actually gap up. Earnings posted in pre-market and then they gapped up. So just showing you how you can kind of fish for your own tickers and see what's trending. We'll leave it at that. I think Intel is also up 2% or so. So keep them in watch. Let's do a quick look at what is down significantly. Win is down. HP, whoa, 19%. Let's just take a look at where they can be going if they're down 19%. Yeah, that doesn't look too good. We'll have to see if buyers react when they open up, but why are they down? Earnings posted. Okay, earnings on the 6th. So they had earnings and clearly the market reacted this way. So where they were at 17, they closed the day at what, 17.96? They're already at 14.41. So clearly the market didn't have the right reaction if you were looking at this one and looking for any type of pop. So I would just keep an eye on them. They still can come down if they lose the zone completely in opening. And we would have to look to where this is, where we're going. Let's see. Yeah, they're losing some support pre-market. Like this was a lot of support that they've just kind of sold through. So what you want to see is if buyers, once we open, start jumping at this price. Because although they've dropped so much, that doesn't mean that at this price, once we open, we won't get some reaction and get buyers in. If not, they can just keep coming down closer to $13. I'll keep them on my watch. That's pretty interesting to see. Let's see here. We are going to look at QQQ. Now, the story with QQQ, if we're just gonna take a moment and have a lesson. All right, so in Discord, I posted yesterday morning that we needed to keep watch of this one area, which is, let me get rid of this because I'm gonna map all this out again. Um, see. 496.93 was the area. Okay. So I just have seen how we were doing at 496.93. So I'm going to put a line on my chart so we can get into a little bit of a lesson at 496.93. Okay. That is the previous week low. So just like it can go so deep, like you can measure the previous week low as another area to watch. We broke that yesterday. And so let's just go to what we're seeing with this area, okay? So we've attempted a few times to break out of it and hold after we had lost it here. And each time we rejected it here. This was around the 4th, came back to it, broke out of it, hit that high of 503, and then we rejected here, came back down, so forth. Well, when you get to your Thursday, one thing that I noticed when I was planning that pre-market is that if we didn't hold price above 496.93 again, we're just going to keep coming down. And so that's exactly what happened is we actually were playing around. I alerted a potential double top pattern. Probably see it. Let's see. We have a top here, we have a top here. So yeah, that happened. And then we get a really strong pullback. So I didn't catch or see this portion. But when I was finally looking again, I noticed that we were playing in the area that I really wanted to be watching. So I actually had an alert set. And once I seen this forming right here, and I seen these candles happening, we were weak and we couldn't even break like the high of this peak point right here for today. I just started to have the idea that we're probably going to go ahead and pull back. So my target was the previous day low. I just thought that would be my ultimate target. And clearly it gave a little bit more. So I was really excited to see it play out. I hate to stay in bear mode, but I mean, everything is just looking weak. And so I think we still just are waiting on data. We have the Fed speaking. So I wasn't expecting a big bull run before all today's data, Fed speaking. And so I didn't get sold on this little pop, but I definitely was so convinced and invested in this drop. So keep an eye out on QQQ. It kind of is the same story that we are well below this. We're also still below the previous day low of um, Wednesday. And I'm just gonna do the same thing I tell you guys. I'm just gonna mark the low and the high. So this where it says previous day low, I'm just going to tag it here now. Actually, I'm going to keep this here as just a resistance, 491.26. And I'm gonna take off the previous day low label because that's not the case anymore. It's just gonna be something I know we still need to break and pay attention to. And I'm just gonna also mark this low candle here. It's now my new previous day low at 486.20. Previous day low. We're tagged. If I want to change it a different color, so it's just always popped out for me. And then my previous day high is going to be 498.58. You can see how we have broke up above the 496.93 with a wick. Just nothing special because price could not hold it. So we have 498.58 as our previous day high. And that's how we'll rock with that one. So keep an eye on them. You know, while stocks are pulling back, make sure you're checking those larger time frames because once they finally do find support, you'll potentially get those nice opportunities, especially for your long-term portfolio. If you have a stock that was dropping, to start planning where you start building positions or looking for some buy-in opportunities. Can't say that we're done pulling back, but I can say just keep a watch. Make sure you're monitoring some target areas that you would buy into stock that maybe you haven't had the chance to. You have Tesla pulling back, Nvidia pulling back, um, all these great opportunities to keep watch and kind of plan for your long term portfolio. So pre-market right now, it is pretty early for me. It's 490.65. That's where we're at. We still need to break 491.26. You can see right here, just eyeballing, we have resistance here. When you see those clusters like this and these candles, those are just areas that you can also look at to see if we're going to break out of. Clearly, once we did the consolidation here, a little bit of sideways trading, look how quick buyers stepped in and pumped it up like that. And same story here. And then sometimes you have it where you're consolidating and then you get the next drop. So when you see sideways trading, guys, do not get caught up in it. Like this was nothing to trade at the closing of Wednesday. It was just a big chop fest. Like all the moves have been made actually on Tuesday, which I think I was chatting with you guys in the Discord. I can't chat in right now. But you could see we made moves all the way down straight to a target and then all the way back up. And so now with this gap down again, can't say that we're going to have a bull run or we're going to have a bearish momentum for today because we need to see what the data does. Nevertheless, just want to make sure you know this sideways trading is not worth your while. Wait for a clear rejection. When you start seeing candles forming, that's telling you, hey, something's happening. We're rejecting here. Um, that's where you need to pay attention. These little pops, yeah, they can get you trade out of your trade. Maybe you're convinced I'm gonna close the trade. It's an ODTE maybe. But when you see these little candles pulling up and you see your patterns pulling up or you get a double top, then you know we're probably gonna make another drop, which we did all the way to the previous day low at 46.20. It was perfect. And then now you get another just bit of choppiness. Nothing special happened to close the day out, in my opinion, for QQQ. All the moves were made here. This was the best move. This would have got you something too because you're getting in. Your EMAs are probably playing out for you. And you remember, it's as simple as as long as we're under the 200, in my case, the 200 weighted moving average, we're in a bearish trend. However, you're going to get those pops, right? Maybe this was a bear trap, right? Then well, I get my wolf chart confirmation here. That's where you start to see you can potentially get an entry. So even if I enter in this candle, it would have rolled all the way to 498. So that's a nice $4 move. Sometimes a QQQ candle can give you a whole $2 move just in one candle. This candle right here would be an example. So if you just traded one candle on the 5 minute and a $2 drop with the right investment and target points, I mean, everything else to you is a bonus because you've already got the initial catch of that $2 move. I knew that because it was worth it to see the double top forming. It was worth it to see these candles right here, and it was worth it for me to see my arc confirmation on the wolf chart. So yeah, great trade. Keep watch with them. I'll map them out a little bit more and post in the Discord so that you have your levels for the day. But I do like QQQ. AVGO, the story with them is that they had a really nice earnings gap up. I actually didn't catch any of the earnings news. I just saw the reaction. And so when you look at them, yeah, they beat earnings. It is Friday, so you have to ask the question of whether we're going to keep pushing up on a Friday or what's going to happen. I do have an Anchor VWAP on here from a gap up they had. I'm going to take that off. So all I'll be doing is popping up an Anchor VWAP on this particular stock, and then I'm just going to see how they move for the day, and whether they give any type of nice opportunities. So we'll keep an eye on them going into pre-opening. But yeah, all I'll do is at opening candle, pop a Anchor VWAP on and go from there. So what else did Tesla? We can look at Tesla and we'll look at Nvidia to see where we are. Wow, even Tesla broke their previous week low, which to me is just, ugh, it's just nasty work. I guess what I'm watching now for Tesla is whether or not we're going to come close this gap. Now, again, what I love about the wolf chart is that for me, it's already there. Everything has given me all my confirmations. And so, it's not about not understanding how to identify and trade without the wolf chart because I show you guys with or without the wolf chart. It's just that it makes all of this even easier for me as a busy person. So when I promote and get excited about the wolf chart, you guys have to understand I will never promote anything I don't believe in or think would be beneficial because it has worked for me. But I will never say go get it just because I have it. I will say look at the videos, see if it will be something you're interested in. And so again, I'm just going to address there's no greed in me stating or promoting the wolf chart. I truly love the chart, and I'm just not going to stop saying it. I'll stop saying it in Discord, but I do love the chart, guys. It really works. And so when you see this right here, we already got our confirmation if you're using the wolf chart. We already knew that we got a signal on the weekly since January, right? Then we lost our 12 EMA. Now, for my people that don't use the wolf chart, it's kind of the same story. Okay, you just use the EMAs that you prefer. I have these set because people that I talk to and help, I just get an idea of what are their favorite EMAs, and then I just keep track of those as well. Well, you can see the story with Tesla still that we're probably targeting here if we don't start getting buyers reacting. Um, there's a gap we can close. As you can see how quick I was able to pop that in. This is just if you're using your eyeballs and you just get an idea of where could we be going. I've had 280, 88 on my chart for a while as a level to watch. Well, I just popped this next one, 243.04, kind of just looking at where we had this going on, right? I told you when you're seeing candles just kind of clustering around a particular price level, then pay attention to that because maybe that's where we need to make or break it, right? And so I would put that level here. And so we have pulled back and we have broken the 280.88 again. And so now we're looking, since we've lost it, to see if we're going to target this 243.04. Under that, we have the 200 on the weekly position here. In this case, for my people that like the 200 EMA, what we currently have on our chart is the 9, the 20, and the 200. So again, as you can see, if you don't even use the wolf chart, you prep yourself. Price under is telling you that we are pulling back. Price over, you're in an uptrend, especially on a time frame like the weekly. So if you look at Tesla for a minute, we've been trending even testing the EMAs, but always above it. We've actually lost it on a weekly, and we've lost it since last week, and we're targeting potentially to 200. I don't know if we'll get any buyers stepping in before that plays out, but I'm telling you that could be some very ideal targets to look at for Tesla. Now, for me, I'm going to get us back to the wolf chart so we can move a little bit faster through this Tesla chart. All right. So where are we on the daily? There is a fair value gap here at 256.42, but again, we've already tested this fair value gap and we've already pulled back in it and bounced back out of it. So there is some support that we can watch. There is a bit of demand here as they get closer to 249.70. So if we're at 262.30 and we get this crazy sell-off, we could come here. We could come to this 249 area. And you want to see how we do with price in this point. Um, Other than that, if we lose that, again, I told you about the 222 based on where the 200 is seated on the weekly could become some of your support, your ultimate support. You know, we test the weekly. Same story, right? We just been continuously selling off. We got our arc confirmation on the daily here. We did have a nice bounce, got above, we got an inverse arc, a little bit of a pop, definitely didn't take out this high. And so we've just had these pop and drops. All right. So if you're looking at it, you're almost getting yourself the stairway, right? Down, up, and then we're pulling back. Another high, we're pulling back. Another high. But remember, we're not taking out any of these highs here. So the trend is always trending for you down. So what Tesla, I think is pretty simple. I'm going to keep this 280.88 on my chart. I probably can go ahead and pop in just like I did with QQQ this previous week at 340, sorry, 273.60. And shout out to Miss Crystal because I've been helping her and she actually got in there and traded Tesla and made some really nice profits. I'm always excited when you guys are hitting me up telling me what you did, what your success was, and it pumps me up. I promise it pumps me up to do better and keep learning and growing and then sharing. So 273.60 is what I'll keep as a watch for Tesla. Okay, that's one. We're mapping out. And let's just zoom out to the 4 hour. Oh, and then I'm going to measure my previous day low and high. So I've already showed you guys how to do that. I'm just looking to see. Okay, see, we can come here in the 4 hour to this area, 248. That could hold support really well. We haven't been back here since November. So yeah, that could hold up as well. Okay, so Tesla's in an interesting spot. The trend is down, but that doesn't mean that we don't get those days where they actually pop. And it's just putting in a lower high and then dropping. And so until we start getting real confirmations that Tesla is going to reverse, it's nothing to chase for me. For me, I'm just gonna speak for myself. Tesla, measure your previous day high and low. Keep a look at that weekly low to see if we come back and test that. Last one, because I do need to wrap up, we'll just pop in and check out NVIDIA. So in Discord, I did tell you guys that if NVIDIA started to lose 110 yesterday, I was really going to be worried. And I think we came down. So what was our closing price? 110.58. But you see how we held support? We tested around here on the 4th. And so now we're back at 11, pre-market 1162. Again, another same story is that we broke the previous week low. And that was at 116.40. Still a target under 110 to possibly come down to this 106.79. And as you can see what it does, it's been here. It needed to break it. It's came back and tested it, lost it, recovered, tested again, it came down a little bit under it. Well, that's quite a few dollars, and then popped right back up. So I'm going to keep 106.79 on my chart as a potential target. It just seems to be a place where buyers do at some point step in and pick Nvidia up. But what's on my chart, this green line is the anchor VWAP from their earnings, and then everything else is just what I have from the wolf chart. All right, let's see here. So pre-market, actually, let's go back to daily. I'm just going to cover the high and the low for the day. So I would say the range for NVIDIA is going to be high point 115.35 if they're going to get any type of little pump. They'll test 118.28 if we just get those continuation moves. And then low point that I would watch is still going to be 110. Actually, it's going to be 110.22. 110.22 is a point that you can watch for support. So if we start to lose that, that's when I'll start to say, okay, things look a little sketchy. And so we might likely come down to this area here where we do know buyers may pick up at 106.79. That's what I have it marked as. Um, let's see if I was exact with that. 106.60 is the exact on this. And then what they can do based on this candle is a low point of 103.43. We're just going to pull back from 106. It would be choppy here, but doesn't mean with enough selling pressure we can't play out. Again, we have data, guys. We also have data going into next week. I say all the time, don't lose your edges. Getting caught up with this CPI and PPI data. We need to be aware of it. We need to prepare for it. We don't need to be fearful of it. And the same thing for data that drops today and Fed speaking. We know that these things will make the market do some crazy swing highs and lows. Don't get caught up. Look for a clean, clear setup and direction. And then that's when you make your move. So mark your time, set some alerts. Hey, Fed's about to speak. I might want to close my day trade. Or if Fed's about to speak, at least I need a stop loss pretty tight to make sure nothing drastic happens to the market when he's talking. But I do hope you guys have a blessed day. I still am available in Discord. You can just message me if you're not able to reach me, or tag me and get a reaction. So if you're tagging me and I can't respond, I just simply can't respond in a particular Discord. But I am still around if you need my help. And if I get back in that Discord, I'll keep helping you guys out there too. In the meantime, please like, subscribe, and comment. And I will also leave the link to the wolf chart in my bio. Have a great day.